Breaking news just coming in, an explosive face-off over Smriti Irani getting charge of Minority Affairs Minister. TMC targets Smriti Irani, calling her a hardcore Hindu married to a Parsi who got charge of Muslims and Christians in India, questioning if this is BJP's brand of secularism. Union Minister Kiran Rijiju hits back, calling it fake secularism and reminding TMC that Sikhs, Jains and Parsis are also minorities. Kamaljeet is now joining us for the very latest. Kamaljeet, what is the issue if Smriti Irani is the minority minister? Why this backlash?
Well, ever since Mukhtar Naqvi actually stepped down, there is this contention, and this is not something new between BJP as far as TMC is concerned. There has been an ongoing meme between the two, but it all started with Rajya Sabha MP Jawahar Sarkar. He obviously hitting out, calling Smriti Irani a hardcore Hindu married to a Parsi, and Kiran Rijiju hitting right back, saying this is a pseudo-secular comment that the Parsi, along with Sikhs and Christians as well as Muslims, are part of minority community. So obviously hitting a back at Jawahar Sarkar. But clearly, there have been several questions, even speculations.
Shehzad Poonawalla is now joining us for a quick reaction on this. Shehzad, I don't understand what is the TMC's problem. How does the BJP respond to this? How does it matter whether she's a Hindu married to a Parsi who got charge of Muslims and Christians in India as long as she's fulfilling her duties? How do you respond to the TMC?
First of all, the TMC has proven that it doesn't mean Trinamool Congress, it means Tushikaran Mujhe Chahiye, because in the conception of the TMC, only Muslims and Christians comprise minorities. What about the Buddhists, Sikhs, Jains, Parsis? Aren't they minorities? As per the NCM Act, they are actually. So this shows their mindset that they only want to appease one community for the sake of vote bank politics. And having said that, this country and this government particularly looks at the competence and the character of a person, not at the community. But unfortunately, those who indulge in the practice of community before character and competence has led the Muslim community down garibi, and we've seen the Sachar Committee report testify that. The more important point, Chaiti, in this, however, is that this is time and again become part and parcel of the politics of Trinamool Congress party. They play vote bank politics on court orders. They play vote bank politics on policy issues. This is a government that has given 80 crore people rations. Mohammed and Mohit weren't distinguished between. This government gave 12 crore toilets to households. Shilpa and Sultana both got those toilets. We gave 6 crore tap water connections to households. Everybody got it, irrespective of their religion. But unfortunately, today when there is there a compulsion that a particular person has to belong to a particular religion to head a ministry? Absolutely not. It's the character and the competence, and Smriti Irani embodies that more than anybody else.
I'm just going to play devil's advocate here, Shehzad. TMC says that she's a hardcore Hindu and she's been made in charge of minorities. If you would explain to the TMC what is the selection criteria and process like?
Well, it is unfortunate that the TMC is making that jibe at the Hindu community. The Hindu people are the most secular people. The Hindu people are the most tolerant people and the most mature community that has never indulged in any kind of negative communalized politics. And to say that because she is a Hindu, she can't discharge her responsibilities towards the constitution faithfully is actually not an insult just of Smriti Irani ji, but of the entire Hindu community. We have had prime ministers who belong to Hindu community. Did they not work for the Muslim upliftment? Did Nehru not work for Muslim upliftment in his conception because he's a Hindu? So this kind of ridiculous argument being made by Mr. Jawahar Sarkar, actually he's a serial offender when it comes to this. But I would like to ask Mamata Banerjee ji, that does the Trinamool Congress mean to say that Sikhs are not minorities, Buddhists are not minorities, Jains are not minorities? And is there a particular community that can only head this particular ministry? Is there a compulsion? Is there a law?
TMC has also gone ahead and made a remark that Smriti Irani, who's a hardcore Hindu, has been married to a Parsi. How does it matter who she's married to? And even if she's married to a Parsi, that should probably serve the interests better, because Parsis are minority in this country.
Smriti Irani ji's personal life and her personal choices are not up for debate. It is her character and her competence that is at test when she's in public life. She has been an exceptional minister. We are proud of her as a minister and her leadership, and therefore she has been given this additional task of handling this ministry, and she will do far better job than those who only gave this country 10 big riots in which 10,000 to 12,000 Muslims and Sikhs got massacred, whether it's the Delhi Sikh riots or the riots that took place in Bhiwandi, Nelli, Jalgaon, Hashimpura, Meerut, Malyana. So I think it is the competence and the character of the person, not the community. But unfortunately, Trinamool Congress and the Congress and their ilk only look at people through the lens of communalism, through the lens of vote bank, not through the lens of character and competence. That is not the view of this government.
All right, we'll try and get a reaction from TMC on what Shahzad has just said. Shahzad, thanks very much for joining us with that quick input right there. Bharatiya Janata Party, Shahzad Poonawala, with his first up reaction on this comment coming in from TMC. I'm going to take this across to Kamaljeet Sandhu as well. Kamaljeet, any reactions coming in from the TMC in terms of further going on to explain why they have said what they have said? Because as Shahzad said, it is the competence that matters.
Well, we'll really have to see whether the TMC really supports Jawahar Sarkar's comment, because earlier we saw, as far as Mahua Mitra was concerned, they were distancing of the comment that she had made. And this time around, it is Jawahar Sarkar. And remember, Smriti Irani has held portfolios earlier, whether it's HRD, whether it's Ministry of Textiles, and now she has another feather in her hat. This obviously goes to show that the choice has been made. The government has faith in her as far as holding the portfolio is concerned. Sensitive as it may be in times, especially there have been comments coming in from the BJP regarding how the opposition parties have indulged, especially the Congress and the TMC, in the likes of appeasement of the Muslim community or appeasement of the minority community. So this is a fresh war of words which has now begun. Jawahar Sarkar first earlier making a comment, Kiran Rijiju hitting it out, and we've seen how BJP is now scaling it really up. So whether Jawahar Sarkar gets support of TMC, that now needs to be seen, or whether this is going to only escalate into a war of words.
Yes, absolutely. And what do you think is the biggest problem here? TMC is indulging in just politics for the sake of it, or do they have a real problem in taking objection to Smriti Irani been given this charge?
Well, Smriti Irani is one of the prominent leaders, whether it is taking on Rahul Gandhi, whether it's taking on opposition. So yes, she is being in the eye of controversy over a several period of time. But right here, it does seem that Jawahar Sarkar has obviously hit out at her, calling her a hardcore Hindu. That is where it seems who's been married to a Parsi. So for the first time, it does seem that not just the religious complexity, but her marital status has been brought into question, and that is where saying that she's the one who's holding the portfolio